Hello, um, welcome back to another live stream session. Um, so this evening, I thought I'd guide us through a loving kindness meditation. And some of you may not have actually done this practice on the 8-week course because maybe you didn't come to the day retreat, which is where we often do this practice. Sometimes on the course itself. So if it's new to you, yeah, I'll just give a bit of guidance about how to approach it actually. If you have done it before and you're thinking to yourself, oh, this isn't the practice for me tonight, different options really. You could just go with it and see how the practice goes. Or you could sit through the practice mainly focusing on the breath, and perhaps either ignoring my guidance or just tuning into it every now and again. Or you could leave the live stream now and go and perhaps do a different practice, one of the ones from the previous weeks. So yeah, so I'll just say a little bit about loving kindness practice first before we begin. So when I first learned this practice, I was actually given the advice to alternate. So one day I would do loving kindness practice and the next day I would do a mindfulness of breathing. And I always found myself feeling a little bit more challenged on the days when I was going to do the loving kindness meditation, as opposed to the mindfulness of breathing, which somehow seemed a bit more simple and straightforward. And the loving kindness practice seemed a little bit more, I don't know how to say, perhaps seemed to ask more of me in terms of generating feelings and emotions during the practice. Because what we're actually doing is cultivating, a bit like we cultivate that quality of mindfulness, we're also cultivating this quality of acceptance and kindness towards ourselves and others in the loving kindness meditation practice. So we can see it as just that, as practice. So not to have too high expectations of ourselves in terms of how we might feel during the practice, and not to be worried if different sorts of feelings come up during the practice, because we are our relationships. Our relationship with ourselves and with others is often quite complex and multi-layered. So there may be, depending on what's been going on for us in a particular day, maybe different feelings that come up that aren't to do seemingly with loving kindness. So what we do is we practice holding all of that in a wider space of kindly awareness and non-judging, letting go of judging. I mean, it will still be there, but as best we can, letting go of it when we notice it arising, whether that's self-critical thoughts or critical thoughts about others. You know, just knowing it's all okay for that to happen in the practice. And yes, just thinking what else there might be to say. If as I say, if you haven't done this practice before, or even if you have, you know, each time you do it, it will be different. And if you have sort of strong emotions coming up that you're finding rather difficult to manage, again, you can maybe just soft pedal on the practice a little bit, maybe just return to focusing on the breath. And I'll include that in the guidance as we go through. So yeah, so going gently, you know, particularly if certain feelings are arising that you find difficult. All of which sounds quite off-putting, I think, but I think it is actually a very powerful practice, potentially, and can really begin to change some of the ways in which we relate to ourselves and to others for the better. So yeah, it's definitely a practice worth doing. and trying out. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So we'll do something like a 20-25 minute practice. So let's start with setting up our meditation posture. You may be already there. So in your own way, coming to an upright, alert, dignified posture that embodies that attitude of willingness to stay with our experience, to be alert to what's going on for us moment by moment. So taking your awareness to where your feet are in contact with the floor, perhaps your lower legs as well, if you're on cushions or a stool. So just noticing that contact, and in doing so, bringing our awareness more into our bodies. And in the same way, we can focus on the contact with the chair or the stool or the cushions that we're sitting on, where our body meets that support and is held by that support. Just checking into that area of sensation. And broadening the shoulders, letting the shoulders release, as possibly there may be some tension that's built up there over the day. Letting the arms rest by your sides and the palms, that the hands resting on the thighs or in the lap. And perhaps consciously also softening the face and softening in the front of the upper body, in the chest area, the heart area, the belly. And also having a sense of the spine being gently uplifted towards the ceiling, towards the sky, through the crown of the head. You could just slightly tuck your chin in to help that upward movement, and also this stretches out the back of the neck and helps broaden the shoulders. So now we are sitting in our meditation posture, whether we're in a chair or on a stool or cushions. And now let's take our attention to the breath. Just feeling the breath moving in and out. Sensing the breath. Feeling the rise and fall of the chest, the abdomen, the expansion in the ribs, the folding back down of the ribs. And the movement of the breath felt in the nostrils, the nasal passages, the back of the throat, as it moves down and inflates the lungs, and moves out as the lungs deflate with the movement of the diaphragm. So just tuning into this whole breathing process for a few moments. Just allowing the breath to do its own thing, not interfering in any way, not trying to breathe deeper or slower. Just trusting the body, trusting the breath to continue in its own natural rhythm, just as it always does. through the day and night, adjusting according to your need at any point in time. And now finding our way to wherever in our body we might have a sense of some kind of feeling, emotion, and that sort of emotional centre. Or it might not be a centre, it might be spread across different parts of the body. But often it's in the heart area. It might be in the belly, it might be lower down. So just seeing where in your experience you can tune into that kind of inner sensitivity, that feeling sense, emotional tone of your experience, of your being. There might be only the faintest of something going on, or it might be really quite strong, or it might even be completely seemingly closed off. So just knowing that all of these are okay. They're a reflection of our own sensitivity in any moment. So if we're feeling closed off, maybe that's because of what's happened for us today. Same with feeling a lot of emotion. It's all kind of influenced by circumstances, events, and the tides of our moods and emotions. So just bringing a spirit right from the start, if we can, of acceptance of how things are for us right now, and kindness, a disposition of kindness to that, and the sense that it's okay, whatever it is, it's okay. So, if you like, you could place a hand in the heart area, or higher up in the chest, or lower down on the belly, depending on where you feel you can connect most strongly with some kind of emotion or feeling in your experience. And just feeling the warmth of your hand penetrating through and kind of meeting that inner sense of feeling and emotion. Letting the hand warm the heart area or wherever you find yourself experiencing emotion. And now I'd like to invite you to bring to mind someone who's dear to you, a friend, a child, could even be a pet, a dog or a cat. And choosing someone perhaps who you have a fairly straightforward and uncomplicated relationship with. Just bringing this person to mind. So you can use words said internally, mentally, such as, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at ease. or whatever words feel appropriate. Or it might not be words, it might just be feelings that you want to tune into and direct towards this person or this being. So using words, if you wish, either your own or words like, may you be well, may you be happy, may you live with ease, may you be free from suffering. Just letting the words or the feelings, or the words and feelings, sort of resonate, just naturally occurring, not forcing or striving. And if we're finding that sort of contradictory feelings are coming up of boredom or irritation or just a kind of numbness and nothingness, remembering that this is okay. We're not judging ourselves on the quality of our feelings here. We're practicing, just as we do with the wandering mind, we're practicing noticing what's happening in our experience, becoming more finely tuned to it, and surrounding that with kindness too, whatever it might be. Noticing judging when it arises and letting it go. So now, imagining that your friend or your loved one or pet or whoever it is you're imagining is now returning that feeling to you, wishing you well. So you can imagine them perhaps sending that back to you and kind of basking in the warmth of that feeling that they're offering you, receiving it without reservation if we can, with an open heart. Just as we would wish them well, we allow them to wish us well. And remembering, if you become distracted or strong emotions are arising and you need to kind of back away a little bit from the practice or re-stabilize your focus, just come back to the breath, or perhaps even a sense of the body, the contact with the ground, the contact with the seat. So now letting the image of your friend or loved one fade into the space of your mind, your heart. And now, for a while, focusing on yourself, directing feelings of goodwill and kindness to yourself. So noticing how there might be a resistance to this, a kind of feeling that it's not right to do this, or we don't deserve to wish ourselves well. And just allowing that to be as it is. And even so, seeing if we can find some words to direct towards ourselves. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be at ease. May I be free from suffering. Or whatever words seem right for you in this moment. Or just kind of developing the feelings, if they're there, or images. It might be images that arise for you in response in this practice. Some image of giving yourself kindness and care. So just allowing whatever's here to be here. If it's a numbness or an aversion, tiredness, happiness, ease, whatever's here, just allowing it to be as it is. So now letting the image of ourselves, the idea of ourselves and well-wishing to ourselves fade into the background. And now bringing to mind a neutral person. Someone who you might see occasionally or on a day-to-day basis, maybe a neighbour, someone you share a commute journey to work with on the train or the bus. Might be the postman or someone you see in a shop assistant, or a colleague that you don't know very well, perhaps in a different department. Just bringing this person to mind, so somebody you don't have particularly strong feelings for either way, of liking or disliking. So bringing the image of this person to mind, or the sense of this person to mind, the thought of them. And if there's a bit of a lack of interest in this person because they aren't prominent in your life, you don't have a particular relationship with them, perhaps just tuning into the fact that this person has their own life, their own existence, their own loved ones, their own difficulties and triumphs, their skills, their interests, their innermost hopes, and perhaps that even more fundamental human need for love, happiness, and safety. So just recognizing the wider context of their lives can perhaps awaken some spark of interest in this person. And out of that, or even if that's not really there, even so, it's okay just to direct the words to this person of, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you be at ease. May you be free from suffering. Or there might be particular words that you want to, of your own, that you'd like to send to this person, wishing them well. And if your mind becomes a little dulled in focusing on this person and your mind wanders, not feeling that that's a mistake, but just noticing where your mind went to and coming back with great kindness, gentleness, acceptance, of the way the mind is, the way it wanders, to focusing on this person, or to focusing on the breath, if you feel that's what's needed right now. And then letting the image of this person fade into the space of your mind and heart. And now bringing to mind a difficult person, someone who you have a slightly more awkward, prickly kind of relationship with. Not someone who you have an intensely difficult relationship with, just perhaps someone who you find annoying or irritating, or you're just at odds with this person generally. Might be a difficult colleague, a particular relative that you don't see eye to eye with. Just someone like that. We usually have a few of those in our lives. And bringing them to mind gently with respect for your own sensitivity here. And again, as with the neutral person, perhaps opening up our imagination to this person a little. Perhaps we tend to see them through the prism of our own life, our own needs and desires, and perhaps we could see this person in the wider context of their life, with their own needs and desires and hopes, recognizing that they too have a whole journey through life. They were once a little baby, they've grown through childhood and reached whatever age they are now. They've had all kinds of experiences which have influenced how they are. And they too just wish to be happy. They wish to be safe and to have ease in their lives. So out of this recognition of this common humanity that we share, wishing them well, even if we don't really feel it, even if it's still tinged with the quality of irritation or annoyance or dislike of this person. So just offering them these words, or your own words. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be at ease. May you be safe. May you be free from suffering. And feeling free to let go of wishing them well if very strong feelings are arising. Coming back to the breath or the body. We can just do this in short bursts. Just gently open up to the practice. We don't have to do more than that if it's not appropriate for us in this moment. We can build our practice here with loving kindness just as we can with training the attention, which of course we're still doing here as well. So now letting this person begin to dissolve and fade from your mind. And now extending this wishing well to outwards into the world, out beyond your own home, neighbourhood, country, all the way out to the whole world, all the humans or the creatures as well, perhaps fish, birds, animals, insects, all living creatures. Maybe even you'd like to include the trees and plants, mountains, rivers, seas. So an all kind of all-inclusive, general well-wishing to all beings everywhere, even though the world contains people who we have negative feelings towards, politicians perhaps, various kinds of people who we might not naturally wish well, but just including everybody if we can. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be free from suffering. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Whichever words you'd like to extend. And now gradually bringing the practice back just to yourself sitting here. Perhaps checking in again with how you are, what's going on for you at this moment. Perhaps this practice has stirred up some feelings. Might be a positive stirring up of feelings, but it might not be. So taking care of ourselves at the end of this practice, seeing what we might need, perhaps to sit with the breath for a bit longer. So let's do that just for the last couple of moments of this practice, just sitting with the breath. Sitting with the body. And now we'll bring this practice to a close. So just bringing yourselves back gently, opening your eyes when you're ready, perhaps having a bit of a stretch. And yes, I'd really welcome any comments, questions, particularly about this practice. And also any suggestions, as before, any suggestions for practices you'd like us to do on these Mindfulness Monday live streaming sessions. If you're coming to this later on, you can also put comments below the video after you've watched it. It'd be nice to get some feedback. And next Monday, I won't be able to do a live streaming session, so I will either put up a recording by another teacher, possibly, for you to practice with, if you'd like to stick with the Monday evening session, or if I get the chance, I might do a live streaming later in the week, but that might not be possible. So yes, so the next live streaming might be, what would it be, the 10th of April, but we'll see. There may be one before that, and I'll let you know. Okay, have a good rest of the evening, and see you soon.